Cool.
So,
Stationeers.
Stationeers actually started a long time ago as a branch of Space Station 13, looking at adding, persistent construction elements to the whole Space Station 13 universe. And then we explored how to do it in an MMO level with Ion, but it brings so many design challenges that trying to deal with those design challenges while you're trying to deal with technical challenges, it just doesn't work. It was while we were developing some other games here in the studio, we needed sort of a feeder project to start bringing some of the juniors onto, which was how Stationeers kicked about. So initially, the pitch of Stationeers wasn't even that we'd necessarily release it, but that it was going to be more of an educational project that new programmers could come onto at the studio.
Like an on-ramping sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. So it's an onboarding thing that would allow them to learn what they were doing and that kind of stuff. We made huge games very quickly. So it's basically just about on 12 months since we started. Right. And we made a lot of, design compromises very early on about how the game was going to run in terms of slots. We wanted it to be very world interaction oriented. And initially it was going to be static, so all your building was going to be static, which we've recently changed our minds on. And I guess we had, very early on, we had a dreams sort of idea of where we'd love it to go. But we didn't think a lot of that would be possible, like voxel terrain, voxel water, instancing. But as we went along, I think we came to realize what we thought was a really unique game design. So rather than just making a very interesting but maybe quite limited construction game, we decided to branch out into exploration and stuff like that.
So I guess the last time the general public got to see a lot of what the game was rezzed, and that's when you were saying you just sort of build for the sake of it. This mothership concept might be new to a lot of people, so do you sort of want to explain?
Yeah, so the mothership idea actually came a lot out of playing games like Space Engineers, Barotrauma, and I think there were a couple of other ones that we got good ideas from. Even Ark. So in Ark, we tend to make a big raft that we go around on, shoot dinosaurs and eventually get destroyed in. Mm-hmm. But we found that loop was really tight and really fun because you are exposing your ship to danger, but instead of just building your base and your base just being somewhere that you store your items, your base was actually something that you were putting in danger, and it put a real tangible use around a lot of the stuff. So particularly after playing that sort of game loop in Barotrauma, we decided that we wanted to see whether it was going to be possible to do that at Stationeers, which it was. Mm-hmm. You have your station, which is where you do a lot of your resource refinement and stuff like that. And then you have your mothership, which is kind of your mobile base that you go out and fight enemies on, and you have turrets and all that kind of good stuff like that. Another area of huge improvement from Rez would probably be stability and scale. So we spent a lot of time looking at things like the voxel terrain, which we'd only sort of hinted at Rez, we hadn't actually got in to do. We redid the water system and focused a lot on players and being able to have larger numbers of players. So we're able to have 20 odd players with no real problems at all. So we'd actually only just hired Peter. So Peter was a very early artist actually at Bohemia Interactive, and he was quite keen to go back to doing some simple art. Quite fast, being able to go back through and do some relatively simple art for a PC game, and that kind of just worked out really well for us. And so that basically has meant that a lot of my crappy art has gone through and got replaced with stuff that looks really good. And you can see that in terms of the character models. Particularly as well, it's allowed us to have a focus on content in terms of character customization and stuff like that. So that's been a huge win for us, as well as solving some issues about the look and feel of the game even inside the stations. How our, getting a general look for machines, getting a general look for computers and devices and walls and wall frames, and then also optimizing as well, although we've made the characters a lot more complicated and they're probably one of our more expensive graphical parts of the game. biggest question is always around release date.
Yeah.
So we were originally working towards September for early access with our last game scope. And I think as we've gone along, we've really been victims of our own success at certain points. But I think that's very important after, you know, my experience with DayZ and looking at what other early access titles. I think if you look at the titles that do early access well, I'd use examples like RimWorld, you know, Prison Architect and that. They got released at a point when it was very easy to do rapid updates that didn't break everyone's saves. So we really wanted to hit that point. We really considered whether the move to the mothership model was a good idea because it was going to delay the project. But I think it was unanimous across the team that we wanted to try it out because it just added so much more depth. When we decided to make that pivot, we kind of ditched our old game loop. Even though a lot of the game stays the same, it really gave us a very clear cut. You know, we could explain instantly what the game is. You go around in this mothership and you do missions and you do events. The game loop that we're pushing towards now is you push the new game button and you start out in a station with an attached mothership of moderate size, and then you and all your friends can go get in that mothership and go off and do stuff. And you've got enough resources there to build a little bit, survive some firefights, and you'll be controlling turrets and killing space whales or something like that. And that's quite a tight game loop. And our aim is to basically, once we've got that game loop to a point that it works completely and it's scalable and stable, and I would say the game is stable now and it's scalable, so we've got those two, so we really just need to close the game loop. And then basically we're at a point where we'll be asking ourselves, should we be releasing an early access with that?
Yeah, hopefully the answer is yes.